I am Shuman Karmakar. Today I am presenting about diabetic ketoacidosis. Uh, let's introduce about diabetes mellitus. It's a diabetes mellitus is a clinical syndrome characterized by hyperglycemia due to absolute or relative deficiency of insulin with or without insulin resistance. Ketoacidosis, high anion gap metabolic acidosis due to excessive blood concentration of ketone bodies. Ketone bodies are acetone, acetoacetic acid, beta hydroxyl butyric acid. PK is a metabolic emergency in which hyperglycemia is associated with a metabolic acidosis due to greatly raised ketone levels. Diabetic ketoacidosis is a characteristic of type 1 diabetes. It is an acute complication of diabetes mellitus. Mortality in diabetic ketoacidosis is most commonly caused in children and adolescents by cerebral edema, and in adult by hypokalemia, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and comorbid conditions such as acute myocardial infarction, sepsis, or pneumonia. In established type 1 diabetes, DKA may be precipitated by an intercurrent illness, errors in self-management. In young patients with recurrent episodes of DKA, up to 25% case may be psychological problems complicated by eating disorders. Cardinal features or diagnostic criteria of diabetic ketoacidosis: hyperglycemia, which is blood glucose level equal or more than 11 millimole per liter; hyperketonemia and ketonuria. Hyperketonemia, blood ketone level is equal or more than 3 millimole per liter, and ketonuria more than 2 plus on standard urine stick. Metabolic acidosis, venous bicarbonate less than 15 millimole per liter and or venous PAS less than 7.3. Pathogenesis. In decay, insulin, which causes increases secretion of insulin counter regulatory hormones such as glucagon, adrenaline, cortisol, and growth hormones. This leads to disturbance in the following physiological processes such as decreased glucose utilization that causes hyperglycemia, increased proteolysis that causes amino acids and glutamine and alanine, increases lipolysis which causes glycerol and free fatty acids in plasma, glycogenolysis that breakdown of muscle glycogen that causes increased lactate, gluconeogenesis, glutamine and alanine and glycerol and lactate are the precursors. This results in the following metabolic acidosis, causes hyperglycemia and hyperketonemia. The consequences of this hyperglycemia and hyperketonemia are hyperglycemia causes osmotic diuresis, which causes excessive urinary losses of water, sodium, and potassium that causes dehydration and hypotension. And hyperketonemia causes ketonuria and increases blood acidity. Acetoacetic acid and beta hydroxyl butyric acid are strong acids that causes increased blood acidity. Symptoms: polyuria, thirst, weight loss, weakness, nausea and vomiting, leg cramps, blurred vision, abdominal pain are the symptoms. And signs: dehydration, hypotension, cold extremities or peripheral cyanosis, tachycardia, Kussmaul's breathing, acetone breath, hypothermia, confusion, drowsiness, and coma in 10% cases. Physical signs of diabetic ketoacidosis: General signs. In general signs, appearance is ill and disturbed consciousness level. Signs of dehydration. In skin, we found dry, hot, flushed, and loss of skin turgor. Tongue dry, sometimes woody tongue. Eyes are sunken and dark circles under the eyes. Vital signs. Uh, Vital signs are tachycardia, hypotension, and tachypnea. A specific sign: ketotic breath, a strong fruity breath odor, similar to nail polish remover or acetone. Acidotic breath, that also called Ushmo's respiration. That respiration is deep and rapid. Abdominal tenderness may be found. Indicates fluid and electrolyte loss are water 6 liter, 3 liter is extracellular and 3 liter intracellular. Sodium 500 millimole, chloride 400 millimole, potassium 350 millimole. Investigations. We perform blood glucose which is equal or more than 11 millimole per liter, serum electrolytes and bicarbonate ion. We found hyponatremia, serum potassium may be normal or high. Venous bicarbonate level less than 15 millimole per liter. We also perform serum ketone body which is equal or more than 3 millimole per liter. Urine for ketone body. More than 2 plus on a standard urine sticks. Arterial blood gas analysis. pH, bicarbonate, and carbon dioxide all are fall. Blood urea, ECG, and we also perform infection screen by complete blood count, C-reactive protein, blood and urine culture, and chest X-ray. Management of diabetic ketoacidosis. Diabetic ketoacidosis is the emergency cases. So we go to treatment option as early as possible. So in initial to 60 minutes, we perform this management. Commence 0.9% sodium chloride. If systolic blood pressure is more than 90 millimeter mercury, we will give 1 liter normal saline over 60 minutes. Then we reassess BP. If BP is less than 90 millimeter, we seek senior review or give plasma expander. Number 2, commence insulin treatment. 50 unit human soluble insulin in 50 ml, 0.9% sodium chloride, infused intravenously at 0.1 unit per kg per body weight per hour. Continue with subcutaneous basal insulin analog if usually taken by the patient. Perform further investigation, establish monitoring schedule. Will monitor hourly capillary blood glucose and ketone testing, venous bicarbonate and potassium after 1 and 2 hours, and every 2 hours. Plasma electrolytes every 4 hours. Clinical monitoring of oxygen saturation, pulse, blood pressure, respiratory rate, and urinary output every hour. After 60 minutes to 12 hours, we will do IV infusion of normal saline with potassium chloride added as indicated below. 1 liter and over 2 hours, then next 1 liter over 2 hours, then 1 liter 4 hours, then 1 liter 4 hours, then 1 liter over 6 hours. If we will monitor glucose level, if blood glucose level fall below 14 millimole per liter, infuse 10% DA in 125 ml per hour rate. Be more cautious with fluid replacement in elderly, young people, pregnant patients, and those with renal or heart failure. If plasma sodium is more than 150 millimole per liter, 0.45% sodium chloride may be used. Potassium management. Plasma potassium level is more than 5.5 millimole per liter. There is no requirement of potassium replacement. If 3.5 to 5.5 millimole per liter, then we'll infuse 40 millimole in 1 liter saline. And if 3.5 millimole, we will monitor cardiac rhythm. Should have resolved. Blood ketone 0.3 millimole per liter. Venous bicarbonate more than 18 millimole per liter. If patient is not eating and drinking, we will continue IV infusion, IV insulin infusion at lower rate of 2.3 unit per hour. Sorry for mistake. It will 2.3 unit per hour. It not kg. Continue IV fluid replacement and biochemical monitoring. If ketoacidosis has resolved and patient is able to eat and drink, reinitiate subcutaneous insulin with advice from diabetes teams. Do not discontinue IV insulin until 30 minutes after subcutaneous short-acting insulin injection. Insulin administration. If IV administration is not feasible, soluble insulin can be given by intramuscular injection, loading dose 10 to 20 unit, followed by 5 unit per hour, and monitor the blood glucose level every hour. Or a fast-acting insulin analog can be given by subcutaneous injection, initially 0.3 unit per kg body weight, then 0.1 unit per kg body weight. But in a shock patient, subcutaneous insulin may not be recommended because peripheral circulation is not enough for absorption of the insulin. So we will try to give intramuscular injection. In recent years, it has also become increasingly common to continue with the use of long-acting insulin analog administered subcutaneous during the initial management of decay. This provides background insulin for when the IV insulin discontinued. The blood glucose concentration should fall by 3 to 6 millimole per liter per hour, or blood ketone concentration fall by at least 0.5 millimole per liter per hour. A more rapid decrease in blood glucose should be avoided, as this might precipitate hypoglycemia and the serious complication of cerebral edema, particularly in the children. Failure of blood glucose to fall within 1 hour of commencing of insulin infusion should lead to reassessment of insulin dose. Caution is recommended in children and young adults because of risk of cerebral edema. Potassium management. If the potassium falls below 3.5 millimole per liter, replacement regimen needs to be reviewed. Cardiac rhythm should be monitored in severe diabetic ketoacidosis because of risk of electrolyte-induced cardiac arrhythmia. Bicarbonate. Adequate fluid and insulin replacement should resolve the acidosis. So the use of intravenous bicarbonate therapy is not currently recommended. Treatment of complication: cerebral edema. Usually cerebral edema occurs if rapid reduction of blood glucose is done. Then we will give injection mannitol to reduce intracranial pressure. Pulmonary edema occurs due to fluid overload. Then we go for diuretics. Thromboembolic manifestation, we use low molecular heparin in thromboembolic manifestation. We also treat diabetic disseminated intravascular coagulation and acute respiratory distress syndrome. Additional procedures: catheterization if no urine passed after 3 hours. If possible, and in some cases, we do it from the start. Nasogastric tube to keep a stomach empty in unconscious or semi-conscious patient, or if vomiting protracted. Like, if in a unconscious patient with vomiting reflex, we do not introduce nasogastric tube, maybe aspiration pneumonia, which is very dangerous. Central venous line, if cardiovascular system compromised, to allow fluid replacement to be adjusted accurately. Plasma expander, if systolic BP is less than 90 millimole per millimole mercury or does not rise with line. Antibiotic if infection demonstrated or suspected. And we also monitor ECG in severe cases. Thank you everyone for joining.